Right, we're now recording. It is Tales of Triumph Session 1 after much delay. And I'm Ryan, the GM, and we have...
Hi, I'm Clare. I am playing Elphdara Hawke, the Elven Ranger.
I'm Haley. My character is Jonan Gudmundr, and I'm a fighter.
I am Ross. My character is Willy Williams, the short cleric.
The short cleric, I like it.
What he lacks in height, he makes up for in faith.
Good.
Yes.
Say it in the accent.
Can you say that in a Boston accent?
No.
We are all disappointed. It's the 14th of June 2018 for those who care about years. And yeah, let's get going. So, these are all part of the Adventuring Guild, and you all work for money regardless of other concerns. And what we're going to do is, since you have formed the first party, would you just like to tell me what quest you picked from the board?
Late fees, I think we picked.
Yes.
We reluctantly settled on late fees.
To be fair, missing husband.
I want to find this
is a
missing
good one.
husband.
We'll come
Question
back for
mark.
session 2. As a leveled
Yes.
up, potentially, you know?
Oh, if we don't die, let's not die, please.
This is when the first roll, you all automatically just were like, wait, how did we all die on that? We were merely gambling. So, the blurb for this, okay? So, late fees. That's what you have picked from the board. Also, I'm going to move you guys to the city. Dun, dun, dun. So this is what Nico managed to come up with from my doodlings
Nice.
of our little city. And this... Let's see, did everybody move?
Hi.
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 Good. Weirdly, it didn't on the recording. Why is that? Why did you not move? It did eventually. There we go. Good, good. It's just being annoying. Right. So, that's the Adventuring Guild, the one I pinged. That's where everybody lives. And... you wish. Weirdly, I only have a couple of people see from the world map. There's only a couple of locations where people have actually given me like their, I guess their, like home, if you will.
Mhm.
For example, this place here, that's where that's where Craig's character lives. One of his druids anyway. That's where, in fact, another druid lives. And in fact, here's where another druid lives. It's only the druids, in fact, that have told me where they live.
You're going to have to draw the sky if you want to put my home in.
This is true, but I have a special map for that near
He's
Bespin.
going up
Yes.
to the spirit in the sky.
I live in a hostel for labour workers, alongside like wherever there's been some stonework or stonemasonry in the town repairs.
I probably just live wherever the elves live. I don't know where that is, so...
Well, most of the
In
adventurers will be
your heart.
living within the Adventuring Guild while they quest and such,
Yeah.
because that's just convenient, quite frankly.
No.
Instead of having to travel all the way into the city request.
Well, it was the
No.
same as when me and Craig were making his druid, who wanted to be tearing down symbols of civilization. And I was like, yeah, but at some point you go over that because you work for an Adventuring Guild for money. So good luck explaining that to people if they ever question it. So
A hypocrite.
or playing the long game. If he has all the money, goodbye civilization. Just saying. Anyway,
Don't trust
late
Craig.
fees. Yes. Yeah, the tone of this hopefully will be nonsense. Hopefully.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
the main city, which will get a name at some point, but doesn't have a name yet. But so far it's called Main City, and that's protected, which means there is almost nothing you guys can do to actually affect it in terms of plot.
Challenge accepted.
The reason for that is because I still need the Adventuring Guild to exist beyond one group of players. So the High Enchanter, who's basically like the head wizard of the city, has at great lengths and pains, protected the city with many rituals to keep it safe. Both high speakers of, remember we discussed briefly, there was like the Church of Life and the Church of Death.
Yes.
So life and enduring, and death and change, they all exist as things. Move that across so people can see. There we go. They each have a speaker, if you will, for each of them. The equivalent of just a priest, essentially. The main kingman lives there until I decide it's not a monarchy, or people overthrow it somehow through political nonsense.
Johan for president. Jonan for president, I should
No,
say.
Johan. They are running this year. This is the main kind of docks. This is quite slum area. Most of the houses that look brown will be slum type areas, and all the blue houses are either businesses or fancier housing for richer people.
So they won't be interested in my political campaign, because it'll be more of a grassroots type deal
Aye.
for the people.
Yeah, that's kind of roughly what we have so far. I have very little in the way of maps for now, so we're mostly just going to be staring at the world map for a bit, because, nonsense. But the blurb for this, as I was saying, late fees, that quest we were supposed to do. The High Enchanter has loaned out a couple of his favourite books, and he wants them back. And he's willing to pay per book that comes back. So that's 50 coin a book, just so you know.
Oh.
Yes.
They must be important books.
I mean, yeah, but then you think, how important can they be if he's not willing to get them back himself, right? Or the fact that he loaned them out in the first place. But these are pretty much, the three of you have decided to stare at the quest board. You have looked around at each other. You have spotted that you all seem free. You have obviously sized each other up and decided, let's go on a quest together. And then you take the little tabs from the bottom of them, like who needs a tutor for maths, and then use them.
Call Arch Wizard.
And it basically says, like, make an arrangement with the High Enchanter is essentially what it says for further information.
Oh.
So, what we're going to do at this point is we're going to deal with your party bonds, because you are now officially a party.
Aww.
Congratulations.
Woo!
Congratulations, it's a party.
Right, who would like to go first?
I'll do it.
Good.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Right, if you can go to the list of bonds for your Mr. Let's see. Let me get there as well. Probably helps. Right, so under the bond section, feel free to discuss them with those two, but you're going to bond one of those to one of them. So if you want to read them out, you can decide, or if they have ideas, or if you have an idea about them. You know what classes you are. You've got, obviously, Claire's a ranger, you're a fighter, Haley, and Ross is a cleric. So if you want to work through your bonds there.
Blank owes me their life. Hold on, I need to full screen it. Blank owes me their life, whether they admit it or not. I have sworn to protect blank. I worry about the ability of blank to survive in the dungeon, or my personal favourite, blank is soft, but I will make them hard like me. I wish I'd done that in my character voice. So everyone else do that now.
What, just those bonds, but in your character voice?
Yeah.
So, does anyone, mostly Haley, but does anyone else feel inspired by those?
What's your character name, Ross?
Willy Williams.
Willy is soft, but I will make them hard like me.
Oh god.
No objections?
No.
Now, keep in mind, this is you
Perfect.
starting to create the canon history of the land with these.
But let it be canon.
Boom.
That Willy is soft.
He isn't though.
And that Jonan wants to make him
I'll
hard.
make him hard. Like me.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
So why is he soft though? Like what?
Yeah, why am I
what
soft?
happened between you two to make you think this?
He's lived a leisurely life as a cleric of the, eating lots of bread, lots of wine, lots of cheese. Are you an aesthetic cleric? Do you starve yourself? Or some nice life?
You know not of the teachings of the Church of Carlos. He is silent.
You're not throwing up city walls anyway, so anyone's softer. Just
Very
maybe
well.
you've probably got like wee scrawny arms under your robe. Looks like you haven't picked up a large, maybe quarter-ton stone in your life.
You obviously haven't seen me then. He's a man of the cloth, Haley. He's not
Not a man of
He's
the
not a
armor,
grafter.
thus he is soft.
Yes, thus he is soft by nature. You gonna buy me armor? Is that how you're gonna make me?
You should probably partake of the daily exercises with me in the morning. I'll wake you up, knock on your door, till you get out of bed and do some push-ups. Be a real man.
Oofed.
Oh.
She's basically telling you to fortify. Right, well, if you're happy with that backstory, Willy,
Yeah. Okay.
remember, you don't have to agree with it. It's not mandatory. If you've got a better suggestion, or if Claire has a suggestion, that can become a bond
Well,
instead. But you just get to bond with
surely-
one person each.
That's just Haley's character's thoughts, right?
Nope.
Or
It's a bond.
it needs to be mutual.
Yep.
Do you want to be a less fit person?
I'm a dwarf. I'm pretty staunch. I'm pretty dench.
What you'll agree on though is that she thinks of you that way,
Yeah.
and you need to give a reason why. So is it just that every time
Is it
she's
because
been
I'm a
with
man
you,
of the cloth and
like-
not a hard grafter like yourself?
Yeah, it's
Jonan.
the lifestyle that you've led up until this point. I don't think you've had to really work properly for your shop. You haven't had to work for your shop. So maybe not soft physically, but soft as your life experience is not hardened you to the ways of the world.
Okay. I'm fine with that.
So keep in mind as well for these types of things, like personal opinion is fine. So as I was saying earlier, the example of that could be that anytime Jonan has worked with Willy, it could easily just have been the fact that maybe Willy just hung back and just, tended to people afterwards, never actually weighed in on the fighting much. Or, you see what I mean? Like, that's the type of things that, even if in any other quest without Jonan, Willy had to, weigh in more because he didn't have, a fairly competent fighter with them. Do you see what I mean? So, keep in mind it's all about points of view as well, but you do need to agree on them as players, because I feel like that's, as I said, I've changed bonds ever so slightly from the basic way it works in the book, purely because there's going to be so many more people than the standard party. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that so far, if you are.
Yeah. Like I'm more of a stone whisperer than a stone builder.
But you need to resolve these, so maybe I'll learn that you have ways of your ancient past that are good for stonework.
Or potentially he'll save your life at some point and you'll be like, damn. Like it can be
Or
resolved.
maybe I won't.
Maybe, exactly.
Very possibly, yeah. Right, who wants to go next?
I'll do it.
Okay. Right, do you want to talk us through your bonds?
So I have blank has insulted my deity. I do not trust them. Blank is a good and faithful person. I trust them implicitly. Blank is in constant danger. I will keep them safe, and I am working on converting blank to my faith.
My suggestion, because there's 3 of you, would be to, triangle rotate this. So try and aim to bond one of these to Clare, so Clare can try and aim to bond one of hers to Jonan, but obviously if there's better fits, feel free to do that.
I'm gonna try and convert Claire to my faith. To the Church of Carlos, to use silent. You ought to see it up in Cloud City.
I mean,
Sorry, we can't call it that, right?
The city in the clouds.
The city. The city
I'm
of
not
Cloud.
sure. I'm not sure Elphdara wants to be a part of your religion because she is
Oh,
just
you gotta see it, man!
she's all about the nature and the trees and the birds.
The clouds are
animals.
nature.
Yeah, but they're in the sky.
The
I'm
sky
down
is
here. I can't
nature.
fly.
Yet.
Not
I
with
mean-
that attitude.
You can try.
Keep in mind, these are bonds, and these are ways to have tied your characters together, which means you're implying there's history to your
Yeah.
characters. So keep in mind that if you're agreeing on it, or if you've got alternative options, then don't be quiet.
I
Suggest
think,
them, explore them.
I think if you have totally 180-degree views, would not. I think it would be Willy would see it as a challenge, because perhaps there's not many members of his faith.
Yeah. I could see maybe we were on a quest together before, and you've mentioned it to me, and I've just went, that's a load of hogwash. I don't agree with any of that. What the
Or-
hell?
Something slightly less, exactly generic as RPGs go. What if you see qualities in Elphdara or Gara? Is it Gara or Dara? I forget.
Elphdara.
Elphdara. What if you see the qualities that the Carlosi praise within
Mm.
Elphdara?
Yeah.
That's another way of doing it as well. It doesn't need to be.
That's
You spoke to
quite
me
cool.
about your god, and I went meh.
Yeah. You'd really suit a mustache, something like that. Oh, the colors of blue and gold really shine with your eyes.
What's the teachings of Carlos Silent T?
You can't expect to know those if you're not a member.
The Carlosi are a very secret people.
Maybe I'm good at keeping secrets.
How would he know that?
Maybe it's told me a secret and I've kept it.
I don't know about it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, wouldn't that be as a good and faithful person I trust them implicitly?
Yes.
Or even the top one based on Claire's original idea has insulted my deity. I do not trust him.
Oh, that could be funny. Yeah, nah, let's go for that one instead.
Okay.
Because if you're going to go down the I like nature, not organized religion, or possibly soon to be organized religion,
I live in the woods. I will not partake in this.
you don't. You live in the adventuring
I
guild,
know.
but you came
But-
from the
You
woods.
gotta come- the
Elphdara likes to
clouds.
say that she lives in the woods. Her heart is in the woods, and home is where the heart is.
You should probably keep that with you though. That's probably vital.
Yes.
Right. So what
Let's
we
go
doing?
for that.
What we saying? I hope you're filling these
Elphdara
out
has
in the character sheets as well on Roll20.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Good.
There you go, got it. I do not trust them, but does anyone trust elves? Apart from elves?
That's how the elves like it. Okay, that's quite good.
I like
But
it.
what happened though? What did you do to what did you do to insult the deity?
I like to think I was already in the said Adventurers Guild, perhaps spreading the good word of Carlos to the many patrons of the guild, many or few, whatever it may be, and perhaps I reached a tired and hungry Elphdara who had just made it to the haven of the guild from the wilderness, and I just got flamed and called a silly short
I
dwarf
probably
boy.
like just made my bird fly over and scare you because he's very frightening.
Yeah. Oh, that's a frightening
That's
bird.
It's huge and frightening. So I probably just went, right, Thorn, go over there and deal with him.
I mean, nothing from the sky would scare you, right?
We live
He didn't
above.
come from the sky, he came from
We
nowhere.
we come from above where birds would fly. Don't got that problem. Think of all the glass. Imagine if all the bird poop. Don't have that problem if you go like higher. You know what I
Think
mean?
of all the glass.
All
by
the cars that
by
go
the
to work.
stainless windows of Cloud City. Or by the stainless windows of the city in the clouds.
Did you say stainless? No, stainless.
The stainless windows.
You'd eat your dinner off them.
But you wouldn't, because they would be stained if you did. Oh dear.
I love it.
Oh dear. Honestly, this will probably get more refined as I run more adventures, but let's have fun while it's nonsense and I don't care as much.
Mhm.
So carry on before all the the hard rules set in. Right, okay. Make sure you're updating your character sheets as you go. Feel free to like add these into the your personal logs for your characters as well. Something else I'm gonna bring up at this point, just because I've remembered and want to just checkpoint it here. Probably should do it after I do Clare's bonds, but meh. Let's throw the rulebook out the window. Each group can decide amongst themselves who wants to do the quest log for this particular session, and you'll get 1 extra XP at the end of the session if you've at least written some attempt at tracking what happened. It just needs to be bullet points, essentially. But
Can we use a copy of questlog template?
sure, yeah, you can literally just, you should be able to just make your own copies and just write it up if you want to do that. My hope is
Yeah.
that people won't just start like a massive verbal Royal Rumble over who gets to do it for that extra XP point. I'm really hoping the game's gripping enough that people don't care about that 1 point, but also that point's enough that it might tip them over leveling up. So,
It goes with my character background.
good. But I do recall you having written that in for your character, and I did appreciate that. But as I said, the gist of it is again, if it was go, find out what's happening in the woods. You could literally go, alright, we're going to investigate the woods. And then you can go, okay, we travelled and this happened. We met a bird. And then it's like, okay, we ate the bird and continued on our travels. We harassed a witch. She's dead. And then we returned home with things we found on the ground that we didn't steal from a witch. And we all survived. I said there's a rough guide template I've put into it as well, as you've probably noticed by now.
Can I just say, Ryan, all that talk of eating birds, Thorn is feeling very attacked right now.
You assume your bird can feel, and it's not just a construct of your mind.
It can feel.
Rangers are just always high on hallucinogenics. Right. Everything makes sense in that document? Yeah?
Hi.
I mostly meant for Haley there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm reading Haley.
Okay.
Our screen.
Yeah, I've started it. Said the wizardy boy lent out his books and now he needs them back.
Right, so we have up next a ranger.
My bonds are... I have guided Blank before, and they owe me for it. Blank is a friend of nature, so I will be their friend as well. Blank has no respect for nature, and so I have no respect for them. Blank does not understand life in the wild, so I will teach them.
Ooh. Did any of them grip anyone?
Well, I'm a city boy, so the last one, I don't
Aye.
think. I probably haven't been far outside of the city walls, if at all, ever.
Yeah,
Plus, I suppose as a builder, maybe there's the underlying sense of why wouldn't you just build a bridge here and then people be like, but then you would disturb the fish in the stream ... or whatever nonsense would come up from nature people.
Yeah, I look at Hill and I think that would be a good place for a watchtower. I wouldn't enjoy the beautiful forest on the landscape.
That could be
Like
quite good.
knock down that forest and put a watchtower there.
Maybe we've been on a quest together then, like at some point, and you've just made these offhand comments, and it's made Elphdara go, no, I don't think you're quite right there. But
Also, keep in mind you can also just have history. You don't need to have done quests. You
Yeah.
could just know each other.
suppose,
That's allowed.
but like through my experiences with Jonan, it's like I view Jonan as a friend enough that it isn't, oh, I hate you because you don't respect this. It's you just don't understand. But I know you can understand, so I'll try to show you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe there was some expansion in the city at one point, and you joined me on like a patrol to survey the landscape. Now I was saying how we should knock down all these trees and so we can put some more houses. But you think some more of the trees should have been left behind.
Yep.
I'm like, it's just not it's valuable property land there.
The trees have life.
Yeah. That
Their
tree needs
life
to
is
go.
valued.
There needs to be a support wall put there for the expanding structure.
I mean, trees are just houses that haven't been turned into planks yet, right? So,
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
a balance to be had here.
Yeah, I'm looking at the good lumber.
Just
I'm
doing my
thinking of
best not to make
squirrels.
dick jokes, basically, but that's fine.
I
Okay,
mean, she does want to make Willy hard.
this is true. These are things that were said, and apparently just
All right.
Yep.
So I'll stick
yep. So
in that blank space.
Yep. There's too much good hardwood to be used in this forest for it to be left.
I mean, it's just the problem we face every day.
It really is.
Absolute nonsense. Right, let's see what else we've got to do. Right, everybody's updated their character sheets for that stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
Good. Also, Claire,
Yes?
add bonds, remember? As separate bars.
Oh, you add them. Okay.
Yep.
Understood.
Yep. And obviously, feel free to remove it from the list and the.
Yeah, that's probably
Yep.
a good idea.
Same for you, Willy. Right. And then, no doubt, in the second group, I'll forget all of my formatting and tell them to do things totally differently. Right, so, now that you have given yourselves a bit of backstory, I guess you are staring at the message board. Or the Adventuring Guild kind of quest board, I guess. What next? What's happening? What are people doing?
Well, I guess at this point, we tore off our little paper slips.
Mhm.
Right.
Redeemable for one visit with the High Enchanter.
Oh, yes. Willy shall pick up his hammer, put it on his back, and sort of make a head motion to the door, and just start walking.
Okay.
Mostly because I haven't worked out a voice yet.
I think if Elphdara's sort of noticed that he's sort of ripped off the same paper slip that she has, she'd probably just follow him. In the understanding that, oh, okay, we're doing the same thing.
Well, I don't want to be left without a torn off piece of paper, so I'll tear off a piece of paper, and I'll tuck it into my notebook, and I'll scribble, "Magic Man lent out books, and now he needs back. Quest accepted. 50 payments for a book." And some terrible handwriting, and then I'll close my little notebook and tuck it into my adventuring gear belt. Pull up my hike up my trousers, and exit out the building with a brisk pace and chest puffed out in front of me, ready for adventure.
Good. Right. Let us move. So, these are standing, I guess, near enough the kind of the riverside, outside the Adventuring Guild. There's obviously many familiar and unfamiliar faces coming and going from the Adventuring Guild, because I'm sure those players will make themselves known in other quests. And we'll do like dramatic flashbacks later when you go, wait, in episode 1 that guy was there, but he's like a main character in season 2. So we'll make sure it's all layered for the fans later. And
The fans.
just have well, Callum's probably going to listen to this, right? So
Probably, but does he count anymore?
he does, of course he does. Callum, you're precious, don't let our, lies hurt you. So the like the kind of the sea air, it's probably like the kind of the salty air smell, it's probably not really particularly pleasant, but it definitely is like a slap in the face to wake you up a bit. It's obviously very early in the day because it's quest o'clock, so it gives you plenty of daylight to work with. And yeah, what's the plan? What are you up to?
I'll slap Willy in the back. I'll say, "Breathe deep, man. Looks like you don't get much fresh air."
No, my God! That smells horrible!
That sounds weirdly like Callum.
It really does. Oh.
I'm just gonna itch the back of my head.
Are we doing this quest?
Oh god. Can we veto Willy's voice?
I want to call him Wally Williams now.
Wally!
I mean, feel free to just have been Wally the whole time.
You seem really keen for this. Have you? Yeah. Why not? Do you know where we're going?
Yes. That's a strange voice, Jonan. Where are you from?
I'm from Main City. Built the place practically.
Oh wow! Let's go.
Why is it I feel like you're a teenager from The Simpsons?
How old is Willy Williams?
Yeah, like 17.
If you imagine like everyone's character is drawn in this really like realistic style, and Willy Williams is this little like fluffy like plump dwarf cartoon boy.
A little pink nose and little pink
Little
teeth.
nose, little blush. That's what. That's Willy Williams. That's how they speak in Cloud City. So I don't know if anyone.
You mean the
makes
city in the
Cloud City
clouds?
Sorry.
Cough, copyright. Cough.
Other cities in the clouds are available.
Well, I'll like punch my fist into my other hand. Let's do this then.
All right.
Elphdara looks between the two of them and goes, "Have either of yous actually been to see the High Enchanter before?"
Why is she so Scottish?
I can't help it.
Ah.
I went into Dragon Age mode to try and help.
Why is she like
I'll fix
stereotypical
it.
dwarf?
I'll fix it.
Well, sure. Follow me.
What do your characters look like? Well, we know you're like a little fluffy dwarf.
Describe your looks, yeah, to each other.
Okay. Yeah. I am an elf with sharp eyes, wild hair, a cape, and a lithe body.
Huh. weird to see an elf with a main city accent.
Well, I come here quite often. It's obviously just seeped in, I suppose.
Mm. I have a blue and gold cape. You like it?
I mean, it's not very good for camouflage, but it's pretty fancy.
In the sky, it is.
We're not in the sky.
Oh wait, we've met each other before.
Me and you
Yes.
have, yeah.
Oh, that wasn't an in-character thing. That was just what does your character look like?
Yeah.
Right. Oh.
Yeah, just want to describe your
Uh,
looks, each of you. So we've got Elphdara's look. Do you want to give us Jonan's look?
Yeah, sure. He's totally ripped, like rugged, hard jaw. He's got big meaty fists, a proud nose, dirty kind of hay-coloured hair, strong brow.
So far I'm looking at hard eyes, wild hair, calloused skin, lithe
Yeah.
body.
If it was from this day and age, he would wear a sleeveless hoodie, but maybe with an American flag on it. But he's just quite kind of
Possibly a pure gym membership, you know, and other
Oh.
gyms are
Yeah.
available.
He's geared up. He's geared up for it. So he's geared up for it. He's got like a wee belt. He's got like little hangs. He's got a wee notebook. Yeah, he's geared up.
There's no
I
messing
love
about.
that he takes notes.
Yeah, he takes notes and stuff. He's
I love that.
pretty diligent.
Yeah, this is his new life, isn't it? So this is it.
Yeah, he's really excited for it. It doesn't come across, but he's actually like, you know, this new opportunity. It's a big thing for Jonan.
Mm.
Mm.
Good. So,
Oh, Willy looks like Steven Universe crossed with Lando Calrissian.
Nothing I like.
Stephen Calrissian.
Please no.
Right, so you all have to go meet the High Enchanter. The High Enchanter is in the... I mean, shall we just call it the High Tower? Because I feel like that's easier than
Yep.
actually having to come up with fancy names.
High Tower in Main City.
The High Tower in Main City, and the High Tower is part of a like in a royal palace,
Hmm.
which is here. Yours are here. So, we can happily just be there, unless you have things you want to do on the way.
I'm not really fussed about doing things on the way, but I like the idea of as like Elphdara approaches the castle, she gets quite excited because she's never been this close to that castle before. Like, she's never had a reason to be there, so she's always wanted to see it up close.
Okay, yeah.
So she doesn't really verbalize that, but like I think the other two can probably see from her demeanor that she's quite
I'll lay my hand
excited.
on the wall and say, "Mortar looks like it needs reapplied here."
And what's Willy / Wally doing?
We Ollie.
I mean, my vote is that he's off for speech therapy, but that's my personal.
No,
preference.
I cannot. Like, sidebar, I can't keep up that voice. My throat already hurts, so I'm gonna let's go for something like really gravelly.
And it
Are you
is
trying
the
to copy
boy.
me?
He's doing that voice thing again.
He's got his ear to the stone, seeing if it's gonna reveal any secrets to him.
That sounds like you're almost about to do a move or a spell.
Gonna commune with stone.
An actual thing.
So soon in the game.
A thing has
The
happened.
sacred gates. Where's my? I don't have a commune button. I just thingy.
Right, well, let's see what it...
I know I do.
What does it do? Let's go. Bard, cleric.
Oh, it's an hour. Okay.
you.
Or
Just-
so.
He stands
He's not
outside.
going to stand there for an hour, okay? Just, yeah.
You lay your head to the stone and just go like brain dead for an hour.
So
Well, I guess he's dead.
Me, Elphdara, and Jonan just go in, like leave.
No, yeah. Yes, he does this for an hour.
Um,
so that's not how it works.
Yeah, no,
So commune is something you would have done already. Okay, it's something you'd have done in the morning before you even looked at the quest board. Okay?
Yeah.
So if
it's
you go to your
with
spells,
stone. Yes,
have you done your spell list already?
yes.
Right, and you are granted
Oh,
new
no, I
spells
got it.
of your choice whose
Got
total
it.
levels don't exceed your own +1. So what is it you've got? What do you have on your list?
Hold on. I have 5.
So you've got rotes
wait.
as well. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I get 3. Was it 3? I think it was
3 rotes. Yep. That's
And
sanctify.
2, yeah,
I don't know if you maybe want
pure
to
light wounds.
edit their name and just put an R in front of them if it's easier for you.
Yeah, probably. I need to get the list up, see which was what.
So light, sanctify, and guidance are all rotes.
They were rotes.
Yep.
Light, sanctifying, guidance were
Yep.
rotes.
Which are the equivalent of cleric cantrips, essentially.
Yeah.
And then it's your dwarf words of unspeaking that we're looking at. So let me go back up to the race options, because you are one. When you commune, you're also granted a special version of this as a rote. That would also be a rote, the dwarf words of unspeaking,
Rad.
which means you just get it gratis on top of it, which is nice. And then you had 2 levels worth, or 2 points of spells to take, and
Yeah, I got cure light wounds and sanctuary.
good. Yep, we are all sorted. As I said, we'll probably take our time going through each step of everything that we can, just so as we're all on top of it. And then you guys can help me train everybody else that cascades from this. Good luck, everybody. Right. But your dwarf words of unspeaking. That is something you could try. Now it says here, when you, with a touch, you speak to the spirits within things. The non-living object you touch answers 3 questions you pose as best it can, but you have a special version of that, which can only be used on stone.
Yes.
So, if you really want to, you could cast a spell.
It's an hour, so
Where does it say that?
it says in the commune, it's when I cast.
So
when
I'm
you
gonna
commune,
rewind
you're
to
also
the part.
granted.
So, commune is what you did to get access to your spells. That was done
Yep.
this morning when you woke up.
Right, so these dwarf words when speaking, I just get.
So, it's the casting a spell
constantly.
move you need to read. The one under
Oh,
that. Because commune is a bit like preparing your spellbook for the day as a wizard in D&D.
that's why I need to roll to commune.
Yep.
Mm. Mm.
Now,
I brush past the wall.
okay.
Yeah, it's not worth the potential repercussions of it.
I mean, I'm glad that was thought of, because I did say that the city was protected by many rituals that the High Enchanter had put in place to protect this place from all forms of nonsense. So, these are outside the gates of the Royal Palace. You see, it just essentially looks like a huge marble, like kind of impeccably shiny, especially from a distance. It's almost got that pearlescent kind of sheen to it when the sun hits it right. Kind of just palace walls. The outer walls aren't quite as clean as kind of, you know, what you can see over the walls, etc. Further in when you're further back in the city. But yeah, it's a very big kind of marble palace, essentially.
Some of my finest work.
Elphdara kind of looks over at Jonan like in amazement and just says, "You helped build this place?"
Yeah, right here. Look here, girl. My hand. I'll like show her my palm. There'll be like a big cut right across the palm. I'll say, marble, pretty hard to cut. Cut deep that one. Didn't think I'd get my hand back.
Elphdara just kind of like, she doesn't like verbalize it, but you can see like the shape of her mouth. She's going whoa under her breath, but like you can't hear it. But you can see that she's amazed, blown away by her hard work.
This is nothing. Need to see my clouds.
City in the clouds.
City in the clouds one day.
Elphdara just rolls her eyes at that.
They scream.
Not the screaming eyes.
References.
Aye.
No more.
It's someplace. You should see the stainless windows. And Willy will like walk on, just talking about the cloud, the city in the clouds, regardless if anyone's listening or not.
Okay.
Elphdara, like Thorn's probably sitting on Elphdara's shoulder, but probably like flying close by because he's huge and he probably wouldn't fit in my shoulder.
You probably find it like your Hawke probably kind of stays fairly high up, like above the street levels for most of this.
Yeah, no, I'd imagine that actually because he's really frightening.
Yeah, mostly for that. Like it's essentially like a condor.
Okay. A huge Hawke. I know, so I think sort of hearing Willy like going on and on and on about is Carlos. She sort of folded her arms and she just kind of mutters under her breath, "Stainless windows. What even is that?" And then just like follows after him.
So is Jonan at the back of the group, or is Jonan? What's he up to?
I think it's probably got a pretty wide thoroughfare. We're probably walking kind of.
His large hulking frame is hard to move, so he
I'm probably.
he lingers behind in the shadows as to not scare the children.
I'm walking confidently beside Elphdara and like Willy sort of walking in front, and the mess of descriptions of some fantasy castle is like just pouring out for him from him.
Good. As you get to kind of like the main kind of walls of the palace, like the gates to them are open. There are guards that stand at them, but as I said, they're quite huge. They would let multiple carriages in and out if need be. There's not much in the way of traffic that goes in and out there though. The occasional, fancy-looking carriage or people on foot that look quite wealthy. Like guards would clock you guys walking in, but they wouldn't say anything. They would just take note. Like mentally they would be like, okay, those are people. Because like in terms of wealth, if we went from poor, possibly business owner to clearly noble, like where roughly do you rate on the scale visually?
Oh, Willy has a really regal cloak of blue and gold, so I think he would look quite wealthy.
Yeah, plus dwarven, right? They're merchants everywhere, right? Loads of gold.
Yeah. ...
Racist comments.
I think I wouldn't say that Elphdara looks like a peasant or anything, but she has really wild hair, like it's mad, and she doesn't really do much to fix that.
Like
so
blow-dried Strider.
Pretty much. She looks kind of, relatively well off. She doesn't look like a beggar, but I think people would probably give her a second look because her hair's mad. Like, something fishy there. But like her clothes and her, like, she's clean. Her appearance isn't.
It's Vidal soon.
Okay, yeah. What about Jonan?
Get that reference.
It was pretty well off because he didn't really spend his money on anything. He lived for building.
It's weird. I just see him as a fairly practical-looking person as well, though.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like Conan. Like he's a big rip dude. He used most of his funds, and he had to repair the blacksmith's crumbling outer wall as part of the payment. But he got some pretty decent armor that just kind of barely fits him. Like it wasn't made for him. It's kind of there's extra straps of different colors just to get it to fit properly. But otherwise, he's got a good pair of working boots on. He's got a good pair of working trousers on. He's got like some nice undergarments. He's just yeah. He just looks like a hard-working man of the city.
Good. So we've got essentially 3 tiers of people. Literally, the 3 tiers I described are probably how you look if you replace poor with wild and dishevelled, maybe. But yeah, so considering you clearly look like you are together, it's a bit odd, as a group. But I feel that's every single party ever made in any RP, so I feel it's so redundant unless everybody plays a party of we're all elven nobles that all look incredible. Like, you could probably
I
walk
want
in
that
this
party.
That sounds great.
I know. Okay, so
love
next
that
session
party.
2, right? I'll just make up like 3 quests about fancy parties. Okay.
Elphdara.
Oh my god, please.
Okay, so on Friday nights we'll do the Elphdara game.
Oh, I can't do Friday nights. How dare you take the Elphdara
well.
game from me, Ryan?
That thing that
Or
only
is this
existed
just
in
a
the-
you and Callum thing again?
That is mostly a mean Callum thing, but that's Wednesday nights and you know it. So anyway, so you head in. There is quite a long stretch of road as you head towards the main buildings. It's like a kind of, don't want to say courtyard, but it is just a huge kind of there's huge kind of fancy gardens and stuff, and everything I could possibly need in future sessions to place things in. Use past those, and it's maybe a good 20-minute walk you've got ahead of you. So if you are wanting to discuss things, take in the awe of the place, I mean, it kind of looks almost like if you weren't in a fantasy role-playing game, this would be what you'd call a very fantastical fantasy-looking castle. It looks magic,
I think.
I'll,
Sort of. I think. Sorry.
Fire in, on you go.
Elphdara is kind of, if there's sort of sculptured gardens where things have been sort of grown in a certain way to make them look a certain way, Elphdara kind of looks kind of disapproving at that.
like there's full-on forests in here.
Well, she'd like the forests, but if there's like flower arrangements, you know how like you go to fancy places and they have like
Topiaries and such, and like small garden mazes that you can clearly see over, and who's it really for?
yeah,
and
what's the
children.
point in that?
So yeah, I get that.
But yeah, Elphdara doesn't like that. She doesn't approve of that. Nature and natural things should be allowed to live in their natural way.
Aren't you
and
wearing
not-
leather?
Yes, but I mean like just plants.
Uh-huh.
Like what's the point in doing that to plants? At least, my armor has a practical purpose.
Mhm.
So she's kind of looking disapprovingly at any sort of flower beds that are a bit too organized.
Like most of it looks like all the super high-priced wedding photographer photos would,
Oh god.
and but the grounds are big enough that they have their own forest. Like it is big. I wouldn't say it's a sprawling forest or anything, but do you know the way Winterfell kind of housed its own kind of
Yeah.
like the Godwood, I think it was called. It's the same idea as that. They have their own shtick if they have to. Basically, a city within a city.
I think Elphdara will probably look over at Jonan because I feel like she knows Jonan better out of the two.
You do?
And just say, I don't know why it couldn't have just all been a forest.
People can't live in trees, Elphdara. We're not all elves.
I mean, I like the castle. I'm not
Thanks.
saying you shouldn't have lodgings. The castle is a pristine piece of workmanship.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
The forest, however, is it should be bigger, and there should be less of these silly flower beds.
If the stones aren't lifted with balance on each end, they will fall.
Slowly becoming Iroh.
You should see the sky. The sky is where you want to live.
I'll like interrupt him as he starts. I'll be like, "Oh hey, Guvad, is that you over there?" And like wave to one of the guards I'd maybe drank with, walking around the gardens or patrolling.
Sure. Yeah. The things I'm trying to do my best not to do is to step on creativity here. This city definitely probably predates most of your lifespans, depending on how old the elf is. But it's not to say you haven't done work here. Because of the palace's nature, most of it is basically like flawless. As I said, the outer walls probably not so much, but the inner kind of stuff, unless Jonan's just a compulsive liar, which is fine.
No, I probably would have repaired some of the spires. Like you know, it would have.
They definitely
it
wouldn't
was
have
it was an
used.
expert craftsman, but that life's behind him now.
They definitely would not have made mundane craftsman work on this, and I don't mean that as an affront to Jonan's hard work, but it would all have been the high enchanter, all of it.
That makes sense. Maybe some of the low walls then, or like
But
a little
like
bit.
definitely, like as I said, it's almost a mini city within a city. You know, like it is huge in here. I really should put not to scale because it kind of means that we've got a small metropolis for the adventuring guild. But then, depending on how many people I end up inviting to this game, you know, I might need it to be that big. And but yeah, like a lot of the stuff in here will be more so of a not that you have done the thing, but saying, would this have been the thing I could have done? Is probably a better way of me not feeling like I'm just telling you no all the time.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I don't think I worked on this castle at all.
You're a fraud. You're a fraud, Jonan.
Don't call Jonan a fraud.
Like, kick him in his butt. Anyway, I was speaking to this guard over here that I know from drinking.
Are
Drinking
you
with him.
sure you know him from drinking?
The
Don't know.
as you
Pretty
waved,
drunk.
the guard waved back, obviously, and that kind of now where you absent-mindedly wave, and then you realise that's weird to wave at someone you don't really know that well. But like
Willy,
it's-
Willy then
it's automatic.
waves and see if the guard waves back.
I think at that point he quickly turns back to the the person he was talking to.
Oh.
Elphdara stifles a giggle.
What? Why did you wave at him?
Oh, because I know him as well, Jonan.
Intimately, it seems.
Do you
Hurry
actually
up.
know him? Do either of you actually know him?
We are all Carlos T. Silence children. We all know each other in one way or
We're all
another.
Carlosi under one cloud.
I may or may not have stolen his girlfriend, but that's all in the past.
Do you steal girlfriends often?
Depends what often is for you. I would say not often.
And how often is that?
Often enough.
Is Jonan Bruce Willis of the Die Hard?
I am
age?
so seeing
Yeah.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah. I'm here to
Just in
chew
a dirty
mint
vest.
leaves and kick ass, and I'm all out of mint leaves.
And often all out of ass, apparently, if you have to keep stealing. I like it. We have Bruce Willis, Billy D. Williams, and I guess Kate Bush. Like, is that who we have as the three people here?
No pun intended.
Oh, I meant the Hawke. I don't know what who plays Claire's character, but like,
I mean, the Hawke's the character here, not Elphdara. Did you not get that?
okay, yeah. So you end up after randomly talking about who steals whose girlfriend and how often, you come up against the kind of the main palace buildings, the slightly more secure section of the palatial grounds. There are a lot of well-armed guards here.
Are there any whose girlfriends I haven't slept with?
I mean, are there though, Jonan? Is there a single guard in this world whose girlfriend you haven't stolen? Yes. So
Yeah.
Turns out my boyfriend's the guard and you stole me. Or you haven't, but like the guard who's my boyfriend is there and he thinks that you've stolen me, but you haven't. Because I'm with you.
I
Good
just
have a
feel city
reputation.
guard isn't something you'd go for as an elf, right? Is it?
I love it.
It'd be so like, oh,
It was
Montagues and
a midlife
Capulets,
crisis.
right?
I'm just looking for an excuse to dump him. So when he assumes it's Johan, Elphdara's like,
Hey.
yes.
Elphdara, why are you getting so close to me?
She just holds your hand.
The all the guards are like
they're rough.
all enclosed helmets and not suits of armor, so you can't really make out any discernible features. Like they all look the exact same height and build.
Oh,
Even
God,
with
this,
her elf eyes.
Even with her elf eyes, they cannot pierce metal.
this means Elphdara doesn't know if her boyfriend guard's actually here.
Oh, we'll know.
Do that infallible test. Wave awkwardly at them and see who waves awkwardly back.
Elphdara waves.
Yeah, they don't move. Obviously.
She kind of just lets out a sort of annoyed sigh and lets go of Jonan's hand and just approaches the guards.
It kind of hurts a wee bit because the hand was so rough and calloused.
I was gonna say, yeah, your hands are weapons.
Yeah.
Yes, even my calluses from using my bow and my spear so often, like, not even they could stand up to the roughness of Jonan's hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Elphdara approaches the guards, like, nearest sort of like the gate, the entranceway that we need to go into. And goes into a pouch and produces the slip of paper from the Adventurers Guild.
Okay.
And just says, I need to see the High Enchanter. All three of us do.
The kind of the wall of guards that are across the main doors into the kind of the inner palace just almost look like, you know, they've not even heard your words. There's almost that quiet after you stop speaking, that uncomfortable quiet, and then you get to you know, as if you're just about to open your mouth, and one of the guards looks down at you, and then puts his hand out and says, "Can I see that, miss?"
Yes. And she just puts the slip of paper in the guard's hand.
No.
She's trying to see if this is the one she's been seeing. She's trying to discern.
The
Yes?
slightly metallic voice from within the helmet, and they're all kind of, you know, they almost look like fancy ornate staffs that they're all holding, but they've all got like spear tip, like kind of long bladed kind of spear tips. I'm sure there's a name for this that I'm not thinking of, but they're essentially sword blades
Glaive?
on top of staffs, is what they're all armed with.
Yeah.
And he looks down at the like kind of like almost like golden ticket, if you will, and holds it just kind of in front of his helmet, and then he speaks a word you can't quite catch, and the thing glows and bursts into red flame. He goes, "You have an appointment with the High Enchanter," and then he waves you in past the line of guards. Just you, Elphdara.
Okay. She walks through, but like as soon as she's through, she kind of stands and waits for the other two.
Yeah. Willy rushes up and he like fumbles his little slip of paper. He gets a little bit crumpled. So I think he just like stuffed it into one of his pockets.
Like sweating profusely,
Well.
uses it to wipe the sweat off his
Yeah.
forehead. Oh god, all the writing's smudged now. I mean, sorry, Carlosi. I'm not going
Oh,
to repeat that.
Carlos, sorry. God, Carlos, here, here, sir.
If only I could describe expressions on this person's face. They put out their hand again, almost in the same motion they did before, like almost exactly. but they don't like take it from you. They just put out their hand.
Oh, I'll put it in his hand, and there's maybe like some pocket fluff and like maybe a paper clip in with it as well.
Paperclip. A medieval paperclip.
Aye, this is the divine symbol of. That's how they know it. That's how they know each other. It's like the fish symbol for the Christians in Roman times. Only for this.
Sorry, that's my holy symbol. Let me take that back.
It holds my paper together. Like it holds my faith together. Quite literally, my faith is on this piece of paper, and this piece of paper, and this piece of paper. And if it didn't have the symbol of my faith holding it together, who would know what page came first?
The writings of Carlos are many, but bookbinding is not one of them.
But yeah, so as you put the slip of paper into the guard's hand, the same exact thing happens, and you're waved in. The red flame burns the invitation, as it were.
Oh, neat. See ya. No, just walk in.
He kind of retakes his place in the line.
Your voice is all over the place.
I know.
I'm going to file it under nerves.
No, I can't think of. I want something apt for the character, and I just can't settle on one, so I'm just going to roll with it until one sort of feels natural.
Yeah. May as well.
I could go back to.
No, please, no, never.
Right, Jonan?
I'll take out my little notebook, flip it open, flick to the right page, and hand it over to the guard.
Very unsurprisingly, the exact same thing happens. Almost like I showed you the way in and you just didn't mess it up. You passed the first test.
Go team!
Have we solved your palace puzzle?
Right, so that's us for the quest log. How much XP did we get?
Well, who feels like they've resolved any of their bonds? But anyway, moving on. So, these are inside the kind of the inner palace, if you will. I'll probably rename that every single time I say it. So these are in the inner palace, and it all looks, fairly like a big grand entryway hall thing. The floor is all fancy marble with kind of almost like kind of interesting spiral patterns coming and going through all different corridors. Like starting from the center of this big kind of grand hall, there's a massive kind of chandelier of fancy candles in the kind of the ceiling here as well. And as soon as you kind of acknowledge each other, all of the kind of the walls bleed and kind of blur into one. You could consider this a very, very painful hangover style headache that hits. And the room reforms around the three of you. And you're in a fairly standard stone kind of generic old castle corridor. And there's like a kind of big thick wooden door in front of you.
Elphdara knocks the door.
For Jonan and Willy, Elphdara vanishes.
Jonan, where'd she go? That's all over the place, man.
Nerves.
Sorry, I can't believe how big my biceps have gotten this week.
Oh, you're disgusting. He just walks and like headbutts the door.
I like the idea though, it's that you walk up and it's more of like that sighing, oh, defeated, smacking the head
Yeah.
off the door. And yeah, you vanish too, as soon as you touch the
Really
door.
made some gains. Hey, Willy, where'd you go?
I love the idea
Back.
that you're looking at your bicep and you look up and go, wait, actually, where is everybody?
I guess there's just one door, so I'll like look back down the corridor and then
It
maybe
just
knock.
seems to kind of go on for quite a bit. Like,
I wouldn't knock. I would just open the door. I don't
Since
think I'm polite enough.
as soon as you touch the door, you appear in a room, It looks like a kind of fairly vast library. Kind of shelves that kind of just seem to keep going up. Quite relatively narrow as a room goes. Shelves go way, way, way up. You can't really see the top. And the corridor goes all the way kind of quite deep into the room. And there's somebody just sitting with their kind of, like wing-backed chair in front of a fireplace. And you can kind of just...
Does he swivel around?
No, there are no swivel chairs in this world. Canon.
Oh.
And then...
Oh.
Yes. And you hear like almost like clinking of like fine china, and spluttering of someone that's maybe breathed in some of their tea. But that's
I
it.
know that feeling well.
Hey, are you guys drunk too?
No.
I think I just passed out or something.
Where are we?
We're in a library.
I can see that much.
As he says that, he's like got like jazz hands, like waving them, like the more you know sort of thing. Like.
I'm going to take out my notepad and I'm going to look at what I've done so far to see if anything's missing.
Okay.
And I'll just be like, no, the last thing we did was we got in and then the quest paper went red fire puff.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. I'm just gonna like I guess notice like the chair and fireplace.
You can definitely tell someone's
kinda
sitting
like-
there. Like you can definitely like
Yeah.
almost like see their
Yeah.
shoulder in the back of their head.
Yeah. I'm just gonna like walk and like I guess it would be is it a large chair?
It's a
Is
very
it
large chair.
grand?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'll sort of like just walk up, sort of creep around to see who's sitting on. I guess with my short size, I'll be at the sort of armrest and I'll just be like,
You're not
Hello
that
there.
short. The armrest.
"Hello there."
Hello there.
Have you heard?
Oh.
Oh,
No,
Silent T.
we're not doing Oblivion dialogue here. Now,
Heard of the High Elves. Rah!
I heard of the Church of Carlos, that he is silent. Praise be unto him. The city in the clouds shall welcome its stainless windows to you, should you believe in the gold and the blue.
Will you stop the Carlos stuff, please?
so are you approaching the chair, Willy?
Yes.
And
Poke my head round.
I think as soon as like you maybe like lean around the chair, the person in the chair, it's a very kind of like elderly looking man, kind of mad, kind of wispy eyebrows, slightly kind of, someone that looks like maybe their hair had been long and straight one day, but really hasn't been for many years, and definitely hasn't seen any form of brush or hairdresser for many years as well. Definitely kind of, could say somewhere in the 70s maybe, possibly 90s, who knows, it's hard to tell, too much hair. And as soon as like you spot them, they spot you, and it's like that kind of really kind of shock that kind of like makes you jump, which makes him jump again, and then he spills like his kind of teacup over him, and then he kind of just like jumps up and throws the saucer of the the kind of the teacup set at you.
I'm just standing blankly, take it.
And you kind of just see him almost as if he may have just been kind of daydreaming away to himself. He's just kind of snapped out of his confusion. He's like, who or what are you?
Could ask you the same question.
You could, yes. And he just
Well,
looks off at the fire.
I'm Willy Williams
And
from
then,
the Church of Carlos, and I do like a little.
No. He starts waving his hand just at
Oh.
you. No. I don't need religion today. Thank you. And then just kind of starts putting like his hand just over your face, really creepily close.
Elphdara smirks.
He never touches you though, like he makes very like he's very careful to never actually touch you, but he kind of just as if he wants to just almost shut you up but doesn't want to touch.
I lick his hand.
There's a tiny shock, like a like spark that just hits now, like when you touch someone because of the static energy. And he like pulls his hand back and starts shaking again. A wizard, you should have said. And he's just looking like really impressed with you now. And you've brought friends. And he turns round and looks, and he's like, and I think one of them's an elf.
I am an elf, well spotted.
Oh, there's two elves. Is that Jonan's reply? Just
Yeah.
grunting. Like shifts it uncomfortably in muscles.
Yeah. He just clears his throat and his muscles ripple.
Those muscles have been passed down through generations.
Forgive him. He's just an ogre.
And the old man kind of like looks back down at you because he's quite tall. Like he's maybe like 6'5". So he is quite a tall man. And he looks back down and he kind of almost crouches down, and it almost looks like he's about to talk to you in that really awful, I know you're shorter than me, so I'll lean down and talk to you. But you just see him pick up his teacup and then stand back up, but keeping eye contact with you creepily the whole time.
Willy Williams, I challenge you to a duel. I like to like a pose where I turn around, like sort of like a bodybuilder's pose, and I'll say, I will not be insulted that way. Face me like a man.
Well, I'm a dwarf. I can
Face me like a man,
dwarf,
dwarf.
man.
Like the old man kind of pushes past you, kind of quite gently, like not in a kind of, you know, get out of my way kind of way, but he kind of just like moves quite awkwardly past you between the chair and you, which there's not that much space. And as he's walking past, he kind of just like absentmindedly pushes the teacup into your hands as if take this, and then walks past, and you just walk straight up to Jonan. And like Jonan's quite tall, isn't he?
I think I wrote it down. Probably not. He's maybe 6'2".
I mean, that is quite tall.
Yeah.
It's quite tall.
That's quite tall.
I'm like 6'4" in high heels.
The
you are not Jonan.
Jonan would be like 6'5" in high heels probably. Anyway.
But yeah, the old man kind of like walks up and goes, I don't think you're an ogre at all. And he kind of, that fat child lied to me.
Yes.
Aye!
Yes, Magic Man, you are correct.
The fat child talks a lot of nonsense.
And you've brought an elf.
I am an elf, yes.
I did bring her. Here, have a look at my book. It should explain why we are here.
You found one of my books.
No. This is yeah. Yes, this is one of your books here. No, this is my book.
I have a book too, and I'll take out like a sort of the Gospel of Carlos and hand it to him.
Like as you go to like hold it up to him, he just kind of like pats it on the cover and goes, no. This is not a book I would be interested in. This is, it kind of, and he kind of like, you just see him kind of almost kind of like pull really weird faces like he's eating sour sweets. And he's like, religion is sour. You're a sour person, fat child. And then he kind of like steps back a bit, like just like almost so he's standing in line with Jonan, like but both of you facing Willy, who's now at the fireplace, obviously, with his back to the chair. And
you do get used to the constant noise that comes out of his mouth hole.
Okay,
No.
He talks
Gandalf.
a lot of nonsense.
It's not nonsense. Look, and then he points upwards, but realizes that he's indoors.
You just like, I think maybe when the camera would click back after, obviously, Willy's went look and points up, obviously to the city in the clouds. The camera clicks back to staring at the three of you in a line, but the old man's staring up, really like expectantly, just for like moments longer than a sane person would.
Willy reaches within his robes and his hand graces his beacon for calling to the Cloud City, but he's like, not yet, and he pulls his hand back out.
That would have been quite impressive had you impressed me.
Well, maybe I'll take you someday, old man, whatever your name is. You've not even introduced yourself.
Are you the High Enchanter?
And he just slowly turns his head as his like kind of what's the word? Know how the kind of sweat kind of bedraggled Gandalf look? Where he's been fighting a Balrog for like 5 hours and he's a bit kind of matted hair. It's probably that kind of hair, And he kind of like slowly turns round and he's like, how do you know who I am?
Well, we have an appointment to see you. So I would hope that you're the High Enchanter.
I am the High Enchanter.
I'm Elphdara Hawke. Pleased to meet you.
Yes, is that the name your mother gave you, or do you have a name?
And then the old man just looks at Elphdara expectantly, waiting on her to answer.
She just looks back at him expectantly.
My name is Jonan. I was a builder and now I'm a freelance adventurer. Here at your disposal, Magic Man.
Good. I've lost some books. Some other things too. But I care about the books more. And he just kind of stares at you with his hands out in front of him as if he's just revealed some amazing truth to you.
Yeah, you haven't lost a husband, have you?
He kind of like, he turns round and looks at you and then kind of like, starts rubbing his chin and goes, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever been married. And he kind of just laughs, like in that kind of really hearty kind of, come in and know me better man type. Ha 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 ha! Ah, marriage. And then just turns back to Jonan. What was it Willy was going to say there?
Oh, what did I just say? The words just came out my mouth and I've instantly forgot what I've said.
Was it?
Worth a shot.
And then as like he's turned back to Jonan, he turns back and goes, so you have an appointment with the High Enchanter and you waste your time proposing to him. And he's staring directly at you, Willy. I'm very flattered, but you're not really... how to say this without insulting you racially? You're not my type of person. Yes, that'll do.
The feeling is mutual, old man, but are you all there inside? Are you okay?
You just see him looking into his robes. Yes.
Whoa, we're not that kind of people.
He kind of looks confused at you, and he turns round to Elphdara and goes, you've brought a friend. And then just, like, kind of calls to your Hawke. But just starts making those kind of, like, noises.
You mean
A bird feeder from it.
How's your bird making noise? Skills?
No, she looks up at the High Enchanter and just says, yeah, you mean Thorn.
My dear, I know elves have a different way of looking at the world, usually down their nose, but the thing there is a bird.
A bird called Thorn.
That's very
That's
confusing.
his name.
He kind of just walks up and just kind of stares, like, really uncomfortably into the eyes of Thorn, as if, like, any closer and their eyes would touch. And then he just starts mumbling things to Thorn. Like, so much so that you can kind of tell he's literally just actually mumbling. Because obviously if Thorn's on, resting on whatever your shoulder and or back is, because Thorn's big, then you're close enough to have heard anything he said, but it's actually just noises he's making.
Yep.
And then he kind of like laughs, kind of like, and then like wipes a tear from his eye. And then he goes, I am missing some books. Would you like to help me find some books? And then he kind of like gestures to a table where there's a bunch of like seats around it.
Elphdara sits down.
I'll pull out her seat for her and push it in
That's lovely.
like a gentleman.
Elphdara blushes.
I like when I push in the chair, like my huge bicep arms make it a little bit uncomfortable for you to sit in the chair because like you have to like push past. I make a big sweaty.
I think that's probably why she's blushing. Like, oh, this is close physical contact.
The contact gives Jonan like an instant nosebleed.
It doesn't really notice, but he pulls back the chair and then slams like two big dirty work boots onto the table.
It's like, well, magic man, I'm here. Tell us what you need me to do. Let's get this show on the road.
What do you call him? Willy, what's he doing? Is he taking a seat?
Yeah, he'll go up and sort of, I guess, lift himself onto the chair. Maybe like give his legs a little, or like kicking as he's trying to.
Are you
like,
2 feet tall? Like I'm not understanding the dimensions
How
of your
big are these
character.
chairs? Are they chairs for humans?
Yeah,
Would be
but
big.
dwarves can sit in those. Dwarves are like 5 foot and etc.
Your feet would just be a wee bit.
I imagine him kind of smaller.
Okay, so you are a wee fat child.
Okay, he sits on the chair and also tries to put his feet on the
We
table.
go back to the question of how old are you?
Yeah, he puts his warhammer, sort of the city and the clouds mall.
Are you
On the
like
table.
5, but because you have a beard, everyone thinks you're an adult?
I'm an adventurer too.
I
Yeah,
believe in
the-
this guy, man.
Yeah, the first voice was actually his real voice, and he's just putting on. That's why it changes so much because
He's
he doesn't
mimicking
really
Jonan
know how
as time
to.
goes on.
Yeah.
Are you
I hear-
mocking my voice? Are you mocking my voice? He did it again. Okay, like as you sit down, obviously Jonan said, let's get this show on the road, Magic Man. Like the old man turns and goes, "Oh, I'm not a traveling magician. No, I gave up that life long ago."
You should write a book about it.
And he just stops laughing like really abruptly, and then like his face goes really serious, and then he sits at the table, and then he goes, "No,
I would read that book as soon as I learn how to read properly.
I mean that reading is a noble pursuit." And he just nods his head, like puts his hand over your hand, like comfortingly, but obviously you didn't
Aw.
want comfort, and then just kind of like nods and goes, "Now,
How does he react to the calluses of a working man?
like."
Whoa, your hands are like paper, magic man.
And he kind of looks at them. He's like, you probably could get a good passage or two on these. And then looks at his hands. That are probably like big piano hands, but I don't mean literally his hands are pianos. I just mean like they're quite large hands that would be good
yes,
for playing
big,
piano.
long, thin.
Just for
fingers.
clarity, for people with my sense of humour. And then he kind of looks down at the table and he's like, "Now, I loaned out some books. I mean, it wasn't really my fault that they have gone missing. I trust the care of my library to my apprentice, and my apprentice thought he could make the High Tower some money by loaning some of my more," and he kind of like waves his hand absentmindedly, goes, "interesting collection for money to people who want to read the books for the money." So, and then he kind of like, you just see him like slowly, like as if he started so coherently and so together and is just losing it. And then he goes, "I should probably get my apprentice. He's much better at people." And then he just stares at the three of you as if he's said a question.
You can't get any worse, friend.
"That's very kind of you, fat child." And then like he makes like a flower appear, and then just hands it to you, and then like ruffles your hair,
No.
and then just walks away.
Thanks.
And there's like a kind of big door behind, like next to the fireplace, and he just kind of like knocks on the door and waits, and then like after like maybe like an actual minute, he goes, "Ha! It's just my room," and just walks in.
Look, Elphdara, that's a flower. You like those?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Was a shame he gave it to me.
Puts it in here.
I'll put it in my pocket. I like crumple it, I fold it up and put it into my pocket.
Elphdara just looks at me and says, "But flowers are for everyone, so..."
Well,
I think that one was specifically for William.
is it William? You're not my dad. You're not my dad.
It's so Callum, it's uncanny though, isn't it? It's so uncanny. Anyway, you hear like someone,
Williams, Callum.
you hear someone clear their throat as if they've been waiting on you to all like notice them the whole time. Thank you.
Willy will quickly and with great speed and attention divert his eyes to the noise.
It's
We'll all do that dramatically.
dun dun dun.
Dun!
Camera
With
zoom.
Some sort of sound effect. Yeah, in unison. There's some sort of like.
And there's the other door at the other side of the fireplace. Someone's standing there, and it's a fairly, like, I'd say maybe a 6-foot elf, in very, very like kind of finely tailored black clothing. Like, how to describe it? See something that Littlefinger would wear, akin to that
He
level
looks
of
like a villain. He's dressed like a villain.
all well-dressed people in giant magic towers that are elves look like villains. I can't help that. Okay, that's just how the world works. So, he's standing there and he's like, "Who are you all?"
We have an appointment with the High Enchanter. We're from the Adventurers Guild.
"Ah, good. You're here to find the missing books. Is that correct?"
Yes, that's correct.
Aye.
He kind of like draws his eyes very briefly at you and then focuses back on Elphdara, as if almost noticing that you spoke, but that seemed to pain him. And then looks back at Elphdara and goes, "There are only 3 of you. Good. There are 3 missing books. How convenient." he says with like an air of suspicion.
Oh, you think we stole them, do you?
No.
He never said that, Willy.
Ah, I know how you elves think. Do you know him, Elphdara? You're an elf.
Not all elves know each other, Willy. She looks up at the elf man who's there and just says,
He's not there.
Oh God.
No,
He's
you hear him pulling a book out of the other side of the table and the far side of the room, and he's like pulling a book out of a shelf, and then slowly walks towards the table just from the other side, and then like slams the book down, and he goes, "Quite," and then kind of like quickly glances at all of you and goes, "Please write this down. This would be very well, it would be very useless if you forgot the names of the books that were missing."
I have my little notebook open already.
Now,
I've done a little drawing actually of the guy. I'll show him the little scribble.
the
I
elf,
have been practicing my writing.
he kind of like the elf just slowly kind of looks at you and goes, "Okay." Anyway, one of the tomes is called Incendious Insights. I would be careful with that particular book. In fact, no, be careful with all the books. All of the books are incredibly dangerous. I have no idea why the High Enchanter just loaned them out, but here we are, having to rebuild the library. So, and you can clearly see this guy he's the one that probably has to deal with everything, you know, like the High Enchanter in his like prime was probably incredible, but he's probably rode on that reputation for about 20 years and just kind of declined. Whereas clearly his apprentice is the one that's actually left to do all the things that need done. That's the impression you're getting just from the brief moments you've spent with both of them. There's definitely an air of they did not speak when the High Enchanter left this room. So yeah, Incendious Insights. Yes, anyway. The other one, are you writing this down? And it kind of like points at you, kind of very briefly.
Yeah. Willy pulls out his it's like a very soft skinned notebook, powder blue, like his cloak.
Mm-hmm.
It's held together with a paper clip. Actually, it's not a notebook.
Of course. The one paperclip in the land.
Yeah.
Elphdara isn't writing it down.
I know. Okay, I was just waiting to see if Willy was doing anything with his
Cool.
narrative. No, maybe, yes, something.
Yeah, he's writing it down.
Okay, it was obviously Incendious Insights, and then he goes on. The one of the other missing books. This one may prove difficult to track down. Hence why we're branching out for additional assistance in recovering these specific tomes. This one is called Blink, a Beginner's Guide.
Is there a colon in that title?
There is indeed a colon in that title. That book has a bite to it. I wouldn't necessarily approach too haphazardly. And then the final book we would be ever welcoming of its return. Casting Shadows.
Anything particularly special about that one?
I'm sure if you track it down, it would most likely be quite apparent. Each of the books contains quite a lot of residual magical energies bound to them. I hope I'm not insulting your intelligence. And he kind of like just draws his eyes towards Willy very briefly and then quickly back to the. It kind of mostly addresses Elphdara, and then it goes, incendious insights would be, and he kind of looks for the word. It's like, this would be like a second year fire magical class, and he's kind of like you can clearly tell he's chose words that are so simple.
Elphdara, are all your elf males so scrawny?
She just kind of laughs. What do you mean? Stop insulting this man.
He just looks like he could use a little bit of exercise.
He'll like scratch the back of his head and like pop a bicep.
Jonan, you're disgusting.
For once, I'm in agreement with the dwarf.
Elphdara smart.
Just saying, you look like you could do with some outdoor activity.
Yes.
You're pretty pale. You should maybe get some sunlight on your skin.
And you kind of just see him starting to like kind of rub his chin, almost like quite angrily, like in that kind of, you know, as if he's kind of like scratching at it. And he's like,
I'm just saying it could probably do you some good.
It's
Maybe
almost
you
as
have
if
some
you
luck
don't
with the
want
females.
paid.
I apologize for my companions. They're reliable in dangerous situations. They don't mean any insult.
As vast as the elven vocabulary is, my dear, I do not believe you quite have the articulation to apologize on their behalf.
She just kind of looks expectantly at Jonan and Willy.
Well, that settles it. Are we ready to go, team? Let's do this.
Elphdara like kind of face palms.
And then you hear like someone fumbling with like a door knob, like really loudly and awkwardly from the other side of the room where the High Enchanter had walked, obviously, into the, like, through a door. I just feel like saying through a door when you're describing like a wizard is probably the worst description when you literally mean he walked normally through the frame of a door. But yeah, so there's some fumblings with the doorknob, and then the door kind of swings open, and it kind of swings open quite quickly, and like the High Enchanter is just kind of staring at the door as if expecting it to do something else, and then he just kind of edges around the frame and kind of walks with his back into the room, and then closes the door really quickly, and then turns round and looks at the group and goes, "Ah, you've met my apprentice."
It would seem so.
Ah, good. He forgot to lock up the books.
You can lock up books?
I think
Elphdara's face palming again.
I think like very briefly there's like a wide shot of the room and you just see the High Enchanter and the elf look at each other very briefly as if, what? And then they look back at who they were looking at previously. It was probably Willy. And then the High Enchanter goes, "You know how apprentices are," and he kind of like pinches your cheek a little, Willy. And he's like, forgetting things. They're learning so much. It's hard to keep on top of things. And then you hear the elf be like, "High Enchanter, I haven't been your apprentice in over 30 years. And then he just starts chuckling away, and then just like slumps into the chair next to Willy, just laughing.
I'm just gonna like place my hand on top of his and smile at him.
He quickly like stops laughing and pulls his hand and goes, "I've told you before, I'm very flattered by your affection, but it's too late in my life to start a new chapter." And he starts just laughing again, like as if he's thought of a joke.
Like, what you laughing at? Oh, I just thought of something funny
Yeah.
that happened earlier.
Like totally that. It's actually, if you want to know the inner workings of his mind, it's because you told him to write a book earlier. So, and he finds that really funny.
So, guy,
Oh, I haven't introduced myself, and he puts his hand on your shoulder, really kind of like, over friendly, and he leans in. He's like, "I am Bluster," and just
Bluster?
stares really deeply into your eyes, like really kind of like intensely. Like you can see one of the eyes are slightly twitching.
please, pleased to meet you. Bluster?
And he just slowly like sits back in the chair, and he kind of like sits up a bit in the chair and goes, "Yes, I am High Enchanter Bluster Loudspell." Claire might recognise that name.
Yes.
It's from a slideshow that I made for college once
I
about
love you, Ryan.
Bluster Loudspell's a great name for a wizard.
It's excellent. Oh, I like that you've actually used it.
I know, I found a place for him in the world. He goes, "This stuffy old tome," and he kind of waves his hand at the elf. He's like, "His name is First Page. It's a very silly name." You just like see the elf known as First Page kind of like just stand up really straight and like almost annoyedly straight and just looks to the side of like a book, like one of the bookshelves, and is just kind of staring. Like you can clearly see, like if you could hear his thoughts, he'd be counting slowly. It's like, and he kind of like notices, obviously Jonan has like a list of books. He goes, "Ah, you found my books," and kind of like looks at the paper ever so slightly.
While he was saying all that stuff, I think Elphdara would have thrown First Page like a sympathetic look.
You just see like First Page kind of roll his eyes, and this will tell you like my entire life story in Elven by rolling my eyes at you. Yeah. And then so the High Enchanter Loudspell turns back to Willy and says, "Are you going to find my books for me?" Sounds really Irish now, doesn't he? Like, what's that about?
By Carlos' name, I will find thy books.
No. And he just like puts his hand up on your face again. He's like, "This is not a house for gods." And he just like stares at you like really, really like sad, like puppy eyes sad, with like a bit of a petted lip through his matted kind of beard. And he's like, "It's not a house for gods."
Bluster, perhaps you've just not found one which sides with your great knowledge and intellect and humor to a certain extent.
Willy, stop trying to convert people.
I'm just saying.
I think by this point, like Bluster is just looking between the two of you, just as the exchange is happening. He goes, "This is very exciting, isn't it?" And he just looks between the two of you.
I mean,
"I've never seen a mating ritual between an elf and a dwarf."
Elphdara rolls her eyes. He is certainly not my type.
Nor mine. Just laughs, like, very like almost completely practiced.
You don't know until you've tried.
Do you know, my fat child friend? This is true. In all my years, I've never tried that. And just like stares off wistfully.
Some things I think you know you won't like before you try.
That sounds very elven. First page, do you believe that too? And then first page is just like, so, you have the names of the books, and that's pretty much what we know. It's unlikely they would have left the city. However, and then he just looks really kind of sad at that. Just as a pause here and a very brief catch up for Jonan, you've found out that the elf is called First Page, and he was the apprentice. 30 years ago, at least, he was the apprentice of the High Enchanter, and the High Enchanter's name is Bluster Loudspell. That is what you've learned so far. And now we will go back in the current timeline and unpause.
Well, that's everything. Smell you later. I just got up, and I guess there's no real way of getting out, so he stands up, turns around, and quickly realizes that the door. They were sort of teleported in here.
I do like the scene though of you doing that though, standing up and then just awkwardly looking around, going like hands on the hips, still going, and then everybody just kind of like staring at you as you turn back to the table.
That was pretty rude, Willy.
It's
You
like
might offend our friends here.
It's like someone pushing a pool door and like trying to work out why it's not opening.
And then trying to like play it off like he was cool the whole time. Now, yeah, the first page kind of looks at the High Enchanter and goes, well, since you no longer require my services for the day, I shall leave you to your... And he kind of like slowly just draws his eyes off everyone. Guests, High Enchanter. And then he just kind of like flickers away. And he's gone. And then the High Enchanter kind of just goes, ha! I taught him that. And he sits back looking kind of really proud.
Shall we go? I mean...
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But, can you make a door appear, or...
Yes, it's actually quite easy.
Away?
And he just kind of stares at you.
Sorry, let me rephrase. Will you, in this moment, make a door appear, or get us out of here so we can find your dumb pervy books? I don't know.
Oh no, the pervy books are in that library. He just points like at a wall.
Yeah, okay,
And he kind of like looks kind of cheekily at you, like, not god books though. And then he stands up and goes, right, this has been lovely, but you have broken my favourite teacup, and I don't know where my apprentice is. So, good day. And then just looks at you all as if, why are you all still sitting?
Let me level with you, Bluster. If you don't get us out of here, I'm gonna preach the gospel of Carlos to you through your hand.
How could you level with me? You are very short. And he kind of like puts his hand like at like your head as if he's measuring your height.
Okay, Drax, can you get us out of here?
How dare you infringe copyright?
Sorry, blacks
and
or drop.
He looks over at like Jonan and Elphdara. What are you doing, guys?
Elphdara stood up.
What about Jonan?
Not following the conversation. When Elphdara stands up, Jonan will stand up.
Okay, yep. Good. Good luck. Yes. They did seem like he just like turns his back and just starts walking away. He's like they seemed like lovely people. Shame, terrible shame. And then as like that's happening, like the kind of the word shame kind of just goes shoo and kind of like dissolves into like some weird horrible humming noise as the room dissolves again, and then you are uncomfortably deposited outside the castle wall, the outer wall of the palatial grounds. And with that, we have found ourselves at our first two-parter, guys. Well done.
Yay! That's what happens when you talk about Japan for 2 hours.
And also, just anytime you RP with me, it will become a forever game. So this is campaign 1. And
Yep.
It
Yeah,
would have been 1 hour if you weren't muted.
Shh.
Yeah.
Don't blame this on me. And
It's all your fault, Ryan.
I just don't see how it possibly could be. It's probably my apprentice's fault. And what I'd like to do just now is we are at the end of a session. So I would like to review this. When you reach the end of a session, choose one of your bonds that you feel is resolved, completely explored, no longer relevant, or otherwise. Ask the player of the character you have the bond with if they agree. If you do, mark XP and write a new bond with whomever you wish. I don't necessarily think that's really come up yet, personally,
Nope.
unless you guys have differing opinions.
I don't think my deity's been. Well, my bond is. Elphdara has insulted my deity. I do not trust them.
I mean, had that been with Bluster, maybe, but not quite necessarily.
Yeah, I've just been told to shut up about it. It's not really been insulted as such.
But I mean,
I
you're
don't
sorry.
think Willy became a man.
No, not when
I
he was called
also
Fat
don't
Child
feel-
a lot.
I also don't feel like Jonan understands nature yet, so...
Not yet. But
I
I
made
mean,
some progress.
yeah, I think you guys did quite well, given how obviously haphazard we were. Okay, next thing. Once bonds have been updated, look at your alignment. If you fulfilled that alignment at least once this session, mark XP. Well, guys, what are the thoughts?
Well, I haven't helped an animal or a spirit of the wild, so...
It's again, it's probably unlikely these have come up already.
I endangered myself by getting a saucer or whatever it was flung at me. Following the precepts of my church or god. No.
No, no.
Well, you did, because you were approaching him about... Well, he thought you were approaching him.
I don't think you can endanger yourself if you were invited to the guy's house.
Mm.
You know, like, it would be different if it was some kind of... Because you're about knowledge and hidden things, which is the perfect quest to explore your deity on, right? So, that is, like, where this quest takes you, right? I mean, if you want to learn what's in these books, that's knowledge. So,
Yeah.
of course, if you end up endangering yourself specifically to get the books, let's say the books are behind 10 tigers, you know, and you're like, oh, I need to get through that, I need that book. But it's not that I need the book to get the gold, I need the book to know what's in the book, you know? Like, that is what I would say. Maybe not quite 10 tigers, but hyperbole's useful.
Thumb more with a rock climbing jazz pianist or something.
Yeah. What about Jonan?
I didn't defend anyone weaker than me.
Not yet, but soon.
Yeah.
I mean, there will be plenty of opportunities to save Willy.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, quite the contrary. I think quite the contrary.
Right, now we need to answer these 3 questions as a group. Did we learn something new and important about the world?
There's
I'd say so.
there's books which could be deemed dangerous.
I wouldn't have known anything about that.
Yeah, plus there's like a high enchanter, right?
Yeah.
Like his apprentice, or 30 years ago, his apprentice was a guy called First Page.
Yep.
The high enchanter's
His
name's
apprentice
Bluster
is
Loudspell.
an elf.
Yep, exactly, right? So I would say you've learned a lot of new things. Everybody gets to
Not all elves know each other.
That's true, you've learned that as well. So you can all mark 1 XP for that.
Woo!
Okay, next thing, did we overcome a notable monster or enemy? We're probably
No.
just going to skip that. Did we loot a memorable treasure?
No.
A flower? Is that memorable?
I mean, is it memorable when you crushed it up and put it in your pocket?
No.
Maybe if you...
Who knows? Maybe in the future.
Yeah, it could become, right? Now, there is scope to adjust those questions to make it more relevant to the specific campaign themes. And if I find that those questions won't necessarily be relevant for the majority of this game, I probably will edit them just to make them more relevant for you guys getting XP. Okay. Right. Jonan, I'm going to quickly have a nosy at your quest log. That is excellent. Mark another XP for doing that for me.
Thanks.
That is appreciated. That one specifically is just for Jonan, just as everybody knows that. Whereas every time I've said it elsewise, you all mark it.
Do you want to take turns in future then? Like next time I won't do it. I don't mind doing it, but
as I said, it's more of a... See, in my last game that lasted a year,
Oh god.
people opted in to do it, and we rotated it, etc., etc. So this time, I don't really need them to be the 4 pages with 4,000 words that we ended up with each session.
We had some session notes that were like 10 pages long.
write a book.
So we are.
We are.
And yeah. And yeah. So that's a thing. So we don't want that this time round. I just want these types of, what you'd get in a video game screen. So, and I love that. It's perfect. It's quite a good example to show other people as well. And as I said, I just want to offer 1 XP as a bonus point for people. Just because I think it's quite a nice way of giving them a boost. Right. Nobody really failed any rolls because we didn't really roll anything, but that's mostly because I talk a lot, as you may have noticed, and I'm happy for other people to talk a lot in character because I feel like that's the whole point of role-playing. Since I'm obviously such an awesome GM, self-proclaimed, like and subscribe everyone,
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button.
Get it smashed.
And you can all have a bonus point of XP because this was a lot of fun, and I'm pleased we got this game off the ground with our first session. That was good. I like that. We will checkpoint this as incomplete because I'm happy to pick up this quest later with you guys and we'll actually get it complete. I'm sure yous will be happy to do the same.
Yes.
As for that though, yous are now free of the restrictions of character gen, so yous can now make a new character if yous wish, and obviously yous will maintain these ones. These ones need to complete this quest, obviously. These are assigned to this quest. But it doesn't stop you guys making new characters if you wish to take up, like if session 2 was a different quest, if it wasn't just you 3 guys, then we'll assign new characters. So feel free to have a look through that character sheet. And then if you're going to make a character, my only stipulation is that I get to enjoy the process also, because otherwise what's the point, right? That's where most of my joy comes from, is character gen. Beyond that though, any particular feedback, or did you enjoy anybody else's performances? Like any... I mean, obviously I've never GM'd for you two before, so...
It was really nice getting to play with people I've never played RP with before, for sure. It was a different experience. And I thoroughly enjoyed Jonan and Willy as characters. I thought they were really fun.
I think we've all got some interesting characters, or the even not writing maybe like a short story on the backgrounds. They all had sufficient personality, and you could get some sort of character across. That's pretty good. It was great.
No, it was. I really enjoyed it. It was, as I said, for me it was nice to actually finally get to play with you two in the least awkward way of saying that possible. And because I know that technically, I remember you were penciled in for the first original draft of my Star Wars game about 4 years ago. Crazy length of time ago. So it's nice to finally actually RP with you guys. I look forward to more shenanigans in this, to be perfectly honest. I think this could be a lot of fun.
It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, it's just nonsense, and I love it, and I'm going to try and tailor it as close to what you would get from a normal campaign while keeping a lot of the shenanigans heavy, because it should be fun, and the whole point is to give people a chance to play stuff they're not necessarily either used to, comfortable with, or stuff you don't get to do in a longer game because you don't annoy people, right? So
I think if you're in, if you're in
Like the
longer
voice.
games,
yes, like
like
the voice.
as well, I think a game like this is a nice sort of refresher.
Hmm.
Like there's less pressure here, and that's
The term I usually use is like a palate cleanser. Like
Yeah.
it's sometimes nice to not need to be always on, if you will, like in your A game. You know.
So we played like the sorbet of the 5 meal course. It's like
Yes.
it doesn't have any substance, but it prepares you better for something else coming up.
Yeah. Or it's sometimes like when you go into a room with nobody in it and you just scream for a bit and then go back and be polite to people, you know? Yeah, guys, in general, before I stop our recording, I had a lot of fun. I really cannot wait to see where this world goes because,
It's mad.
yeah, it's going to be crazy. As I said, I'm checkpointing your guys' progress. You're kind of tied in the abstract narrative now. So if you want to take part in different quests, you will need to make your first official self-built characters until we complete this one. We will persevere to wrap this up relatively quickly though. I don't want to have it linger kind of, let's say if it lasts longer than a month before we completed it, we're just going to play it out very briefly, possibly in some form of messaging form, and we'll adjust things accordingly based on perhaps just doing a bunch of dice rolls together. Just because I don't want people's characters to be locked away narratively forever, I don't want that. I need to factor in some way of freeing up characters again if people can't make it, because scheduling, right? It's going to be a
Yeah.
problem. The good thing is there's only 3 of you. Shouldn't be too hard to get a date where we can all quickly
Mhm.
wrap
I
this
mean,
up.
I'm free most days that I'm not
It's okay.
free.
We can discuss that in our wonderful scheduling chats.
Um,
yeah.
Are the quests available to everyone?
That one is no longer available. That one has been taken.
Because the husband missing quest could
Yeah,
totally
let's
be Elphdara's
get
husband.
back on this on Saturday so that we can do husband missing next week.
I didn't want to derail the session like even more by saying it, but as soon as you mentioned the husband, I was like, oh my god, that's the quest.
Like Elphdara posted it, she's the quest giver.
I've lost my husband. Maybe. Did I accidentally marry that guy when I was drunk? Didn't mean it.
This is when you
That's
find out it's
fine.
Bluster Loudspell that's posted that one as well, and you're like, oh man.
It could have been.
lied to me.
That's why you couldn't see him, because he wasn't there.
Well, I hope you feel safe in Main City, given who's in charge of protecting it, right?
Nah.
Oh,
I feel like it's the
man.
elf. I feel like it's the elves.
What,
doing
first
all that.
page?
Yeah, first page helping everyone
Oh dear.
keep the city safe. I
Yeah.
feel like Bluster Loudspell would be like setting off fireworks constantly and stuff.
At like 4 in the
A
morning
gentle rain of
inside.
flowers.
Learn it,
Setting down the paving stones for complete takeover.
but literally it's just giant paving stones that have him on a throne.
Yeah, and I'm putting down the stones.
He's sometimes too literal for his own good. Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to stop our recording now. Thank you very much, guys. It was fun. Goodbye, everybody who chose to listen. You're very brave. Say goodbye, guys.
Bye.
Bye!
And we're done.